Hey, Crown Content Publications followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners. Thank you for clicking on my video again today to see what it is I have to say. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is the hub for authors, writers, poets to pretty much feel free, express themselves, and also promote their books, their stories, what motivated them to write their stories. We also promote entrepreneurs on this channel with our live interviews weekly, them just giving us a little bit of insight of what it's been like to remain an entrepreneur through the after effects of a pandemic, through a pandemic, and before. Because we never know who's listening and who may be able to use that inspiration and motivation in the long run, in case they want to become more independent in their lives when it comes to financial freedom and literacy and things like that, okay? So I'm Miss Whitney. If you're new here, again, welcome. I just got through doing a segment where I posted the little picture of Lilo from the Lilo and Stitch movie, trying to portray how it seems problematic that some cultures are able to unify and love one another, and it has nothing to do with I haven't met a Catholic yet who said I left my son or grandson in the dust because, my religion, that's what we're supposed to do because he wasn't living a certain way. And my kudos goes out to cultures that are able to unify, and pretty much, you know what I'm saying, keep it all within, no matter what level of test that they are presented with. And a lot of these other cultures have been going through certain things that Americans have just begun to go through. Now, when I compare cultures, I compare the American culture with other cultures. So no matter what color you are in America, your culture may have taught you something different. You may have came from, a different background of teaching, of religion, of ethics, and what respect is. I mean, if we are black, though, I believe, we have no excuse. We had a whole woman by the name of Aretha Franklin come out and put this single out called Respect so that we wouldn't forget it. But before her time, our people were people of respect. So when I come on my video podcast with these topics, it's not that I'm trying to single us out or find all the negatives within the black community, but I would like to see us do better. And hopefully somebody hears me out. One person making a change is making a change, right? But being able to respect one another within our own communities. And yes, our Juneteenth was just a couple days ago, okay? And it's like, I don't want to just talk about the historical figures and what they were doing and who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. I'm looking at who my people were as a culture at that time. No matter what obstacles they were faced with. And yes, they had problematic teens. They had young women having babies unwed and things, no matter what they taught at church. I didn't see those people then abandoning family like we do today. I didn't see as much black on black crime and all of this as we do today. That's all I'm saying. So how long are we going to run from the fact that music has shaped our culture? Movies, anything that society presented to us shaped our culture. We can only blame them for probably like 60% of it, because you can't control what's in the media and all that stuff, but you can control yourself as an individual. We all can. As a matter of fact, I watch, because this video is not about that. I just wanted to put that out there in case anybody would like to go click on that video and check it out, what my expressions, views, and opinions was. And when I do these, I definitely remember to mention that when I speak on certain topics, it's simply my opinions and views. Nobody has to agree. They don't even have to respect it. But it hits home when you still think about something I said 2 days, 3 days later, or you didn't think about it, but a situation right in your household or right in your community ends up surfacing to where you like, man, that young lady just touched on it. I'm telling you, I don't get on here and do these. Business is great. Writing books is great. Talking to writers and meeting people is great. But I will never forget to, the best to my ability at all times, try to uplift not just my people, but people as a human race. Uplift our communities. and to look at ourselves and motivate us to look at ourselves as individuals, and how when you have many individuals in one community, we all play a part at the end of the day. Um, One household could consist of 7 people. If you got 7 people on each block, and you got 1,000 blocks in one neighborhood, come on, bro. Like all this is, you know what I mean? What we're doing, what we're not doing, what we're saying, what we're not saying, it matters, okay? Cause anyways, yeah, I had to get that out real quick. That was what my very last video was about. I want to thank you guys for your support this far too. Yes, my subscribers are growing a little bit, but from day one, before I had a microphone, before I had a ring light, before I understood how YouTube worked, I just had a vision. I had a mission to promote self-publishers who don't, a lot of you guys have authors in your own families that you don't support because number one, maybe you don't know they're authors. Maybe they've been out here secretly putting that work out here. Number two, it's just uncommon for authors to be birthed in your family, so that might be a reason you don't support it. But I do firsthand understand I feel like self-publishers do not get as much credit. We praise Amazon, we praise all of these other platforms that support them, but are we as individuals doing all we can to support writers? Okay. And I encourage you to, if you haven't been able yet in 2022, find a self-published author on Amazon, a poet, a film writer, okay, and just leaving something like a review for these guys. I'm speaking for you guys. Don't worry. Leaving something like a review, even on any of my books, Arthur Sherry Whitney. You can type that in on Amazon, and all of my books are going to pop up. Leaving something like a review goes a long way for us, okay? It shows that on the independent side of being an author, because some of us are self-publishers, we are doing our jobs to market and promote our work and also ask for reviews. You know what I mean? Just like any other artist, musician, and all of this, we don't know how well or how much better we can do or how good we're doing if we're not getting feedback from the outside community. So a lot of us, we're gonna go on, we're gonna carry on anyway. But I just felt like I would say that because we do interview authors and entrepreneurs on this channel. Go ahead and give this video a like, because I'm about to talk about this topic is earthly judgment and spiritual judgment. Is there a difference? Is it similar? Do we live our lives as if we're judged every day, even if we are not living our lives as if we are judged every day? Did we know that it's still happening, especially on earth, because somebody's always judging, correct? Now, earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment, and then I want to talk about justice a little bit, because justice can oftentimes be a part of the judgment process, okay? This is why I want to go into depth about judgment really quick. Whether you're being judged, like I said, by an earthly judge, or there is some master creator out here watching your every, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about that because people don't choose to believe in the Bible because they're lunatics, guys. I like this because a lot of people, they choose to denounce the Bible because they say, look, slavery was in there, this, that, and the third, but y'all claim to love, a love and a Christ and things like that. So this is a great time to pull some of this out the bag. Just bring it out really quick, because the Bible is another book that talks about judgment, and it actually, to me, it's not the book you're putting your faith in. It's what's in the book. Okay, let me try to break this down, and how you perceive what's in the book. Like, you might read one scripture and that's what you got out of it. I read it and be like, man, this does make me think about the stars and how a tree grows and how I really do wash my face in the morning. And I might put it into real perspective for me. Like, I don't read it for the way it's written, especially if it says right there in the book, look, some things are written in parables, some things are written in code. And if that wasn't true, you wouldn't have had projects like the Da Vinci Code, or people that could feel like they could break down certain numbers and messages that were in that book. But that's a whole nother topic. That was a whole, I don't want to say trend, but it was a big deal in the early 2000s and probably earlier before, where you had different people coming out saying that they felt like they were able to decode certain messages in the Bible. And you can go check that out on your own time. But I'm saying they found names like I'm not kidding, Obama, Bin Laden. Like I said, it might not have been written in that form, but it was as if they used this certain system to be able to decode things, and they actually found names that didn't come into the picture till years later. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't use a lot of my energy and time anymore to try to dispute why some of us do feel like the the Bible is significant and why some of us don't. But when I say spiritual judgment, I feel like that's a perception that we can all see. If you one of the type of people that walk around here and use the word karma loosely, and you don't believe that a spiritual world exists, then I'm here to wake you up today. You're saying that you believe in the spiritual world when you use a word like karma every day or often or frequently. Why do I say that? I'll start with this. Karma is described as you know energies, meat, energies not only meat, but I say meat, I put it in that word because like a energy will meet you at the same level you met it, type of deal. Or in other words, what goes around come around. And you know, all type of, it's not a religion or a culture I have researched yet that doesn't have its own word or version of what karma is. But just about every religion and spiritualistic followers out here believe that karma is real. So I said I'll call this earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment. So why would we be willing to accept the fact that karma is real, but we don't want to look at every other thing that might be real when it comes to the spiritual realm? Okay. Um, these videos are going to be a little more significant when my book is officially published. It's called Spirituality versus Religion. Okay. But it'll be topics like these that I'm definitely going more in depth, and I will do them in different like series or volumes because I can't get it out in one book. I've been very busy doing many things at once, but you know, and I can use myself for an example. You know, I might come here smiling and shining and stuff on my videos, but it's not like I don't personally have people in secret who feed me an energy to try to make me doubt my own work or try to make me doubt my own capabilities or make me doubt my own vision. This is what I'm talking about. It's a perfect example of judgment. When we think judgment, we think, oh, the worst. We think the worst possibility. And let me take the MENT out for a second and talk about judge or judging, the act of being a judge or putting forth your judgment on somebody. That's what judging is. Who we deem judges in our life is very much going to matter whether you receive this today from my video and my opinion on the matter, or you see it later. I truly believe that the process of judging can end up with punishment on the other side or also justice on the other side. This is the whole motive of judgment. And I think as judges walking this earth, walking around judging each other every day, judging this situation, judging that wardrobe, judging that culture, I think we forget that do we even know why we're judging? That's the first question. Number two, do we remember that judgment should not always be critical? Like even in earthly judgment, there's a balance beam. Why? Because there's two sides. There's going to be justice or there's going to be that punishment. There's no like in between. Even if the punishment is light, oftentimes a lot of us over the course of history have spoken up and said, you know, when a person serves their penalty, their punishment, right? Just like when you would once ground your child, you wouldn't ground your child and then hold them to that thing you grounded them for life, would you? It's just a question. Would you punish your child for sneaking out the house at night and taking your car and going to a party you told her she couldn't go to, and she took 5 friends with her. Not only did she do that, she got a ticket. She was 17 years old. She's still staying under your roof. She got a job, but she still messed up. So something like that is where you might give a light judgment, like, or maybe not. Maybe you're like, no, I'm not going to take it light. That was a big no-no. You don't take my car, so you're grounded until the week before you leave for college type of deal. I mean, it could be as harsh or as light. I'm giving y'all an example as you would like it to be. Now, to me, like, grounding a child is a form of judgment. Hearing a rumor about somebody and saying, making up in your mind, well, since I heard that he has AIDS, I'm gonna stay far away. I'm gonna stay far away from them. Well, that right there could be an example of judging too, because if your only evidence, think about court for a second, is only what you heard, then you really don't have sufficient evidence that what you heard is absolutely true. And I hope to encourage people who come across this video in the near future to not be so quick to judge. That's why I'm going to use certain scenarios for example, because even when you go to the earthly court of law about a matter, about a disputed situation, about something that nobody can seem to get to the bottom of the truth about, it's going to require evidence. It's going to require witnesses. And I want y'all to know how y'all look out here with judging people and what type of judge you might be. Because a judge that knows what they're doing knows not to judge the whole matter, knows not to judge the person on trial, knows not to judge the prosecutor. They know how to judge. Like, judging is a whole process. What I start off saying, and now I talked about the end of the process, there's going to be a justice. Like, somebody goes scot-free, or somebody's even probably getting a settlement because everything brought against them was false. It was all conspired. This is supposedly why this was incorporated in the first place. Laws are to be followed and broken. And regardless of who's ready to receive this or not, in the spiritual world, there are laws. That's why they came up with something called the golden rule. Treat others the way that you would want to be treated. Or they came up with a term called karma. Hey, what you do to others will come back to you. But I just want to look at the significance of how spiritual judgment, I want to get you guys to look at it, is almost as it resembles earthly judgment. And what you can expect when you literally are in a real situation, you're on trial for something, you're trying to explain your side, or you know the truth, because who can walk in your shoes better than you to know your story? So when you're being judged, it should be no problem. You got it, and what they say, y'all, is two sides to every story. So now that you're on trial, you should be as peace and just as harm. Like, boy, me and my attorney chilling, because I've already let my attorney know the whole scoop, and everything that my attorney has brought up to me that my prosecutor is about to try to use, we've already come to, you know what I mean, grips about what really happened, and we have our answer for everything. And this is how judging kind of is. It's like tennis. A trial is like tennis. You hit the ball, they hit the ball. You hit the ball, they hit the ball. It's not that you can stop them from hitting the ball. The prosecutor has to do his job. And the jury over there, they not even witnesses. They know nothing about you. Oftentimes people get drafted to come to jury duty. Have y'all ever paid attention to that? Like, jury is randomly chosen, supposedly. Like, they're randomly, and then when they get called to do that duty, they actually have to come do that duty, unless they have a very, very, very good reason why they can't make it. That's how it works in the United States court of law, anyway, to my understanding. So I just want y'all to look at something. The jury is not even witnesses. They're kind of like those people in life that just, they don't know what happened, but they are hearing from naysayers They're hearing from the person actually on trial, their story, and then they make their opinion. See, even the jury has more sense of y'all just walking. They have more maturity of y'all just individuals walking around on earth every day judging somebody. You don't do that. You don't come to a conclusion without evidence. You don't come to a conclusion with witnesses may sometimes come from the prosecutor side, and let me remind y'all, they also come from the person on trial side. If the attorney knows what they're doing, if it has to get that deep, it's not just who the persecutor or who the one who wants to accuse you or who the one who wants to nitpick and throw all this dirt on your name. They're not the only ones with witnesses. You're also going to have, and this is earthly judgment now, you're also going to have those on the person on trial, the person that's fighting for their name, the person that's fighting for their reputation, the person that's fighting for their company or their children or whatever's going on. They're also going to have their witnesses. I just hope to, this is going to be different. Whoever wants to inspire naysayers. I want to inspire naysayers out there that might not even know that they're naysayers, that you look very crazy, immature, and stupid when you are judging a situation or a person or a culture or number one that you don't have full knowledge about. And the only way you can truly have full knowledge to me about somebody's life is if you are there every walking second and moment of their life. And it's finna get deep because when it comes to spiritual judgment, in the spiritual world, things are much different. And that's why this book is finna be powerful, because I already have articles where people have come out and said, look, spiritual work can get so deep, people can see into your home every walking minute. And if they know what they're doing with certain devices and tools and rituals that they're doing. And to me, this does need to be taken into account in the court of law like it's never been, because you have more people than ever that are tampering with these types of tools today. If it's illegal to pretty much like breaking an entry in the physical, in earthly judgment, you know what I mean? If it's illegal to just almost spy on somebody, you know what I mean? What is that called? Like invade their privacy in earthly judgment. Why is it that this is not a hidden fact? I'm telling y'all, it's articles from all type of different countries that I have researched, where witch doctors will tell you the type of stuff that they have done for people for money. The type of insight that they have gotten on certain people's life. Private investigators will tell you, hey, long as I'm paid, this is what I'm able to do. I'm able to go look off all into a person's life for a person who paid me. To me, this type of stuff needs to be taken into account. I'm trying to keep the two separate, earthly judgment, spiritual judgment. But another thing I have perceived is how spiritual crimes are not really like, we have no protection from them. In America, we don't. If somebody can tell you, like, if y'all read stories about sleep paralysis, and it's millions of people who feel like something just invaded their privacy while they were asleep and sat on their chest and they couldn't move and they couldn't talk. Explain that to me. It's just a form. It's an example of spiritual invasion, like somebody doing things to you against your will, somebody making certain things ricochet or happen to you or make you look a certain way, in the spirit against your will. To me, that's a whole spiritual crime. And it's okay that it has not been fully incorporated into the court of law in the United States. To me, it's okay, because I'm the type of person that does believe that just as much as earthly judgment is real, you can be prosecuted, but prosecuted and all of that is just, I don't want to say prosecuted, but you can be accused of something. You can be accused of, or but there still has to come a trial. And like I say, most trials is where the truth comes out at. because it's not just prosecutors with their evidence to make their story feel like whatever their story is. You also have the person that's on trial who should have some type of avocation or lawyer or attorney and witnesses to back up whatever their stance is. Okay, and then when it comes to judgment, it's not just always like what y'all think. When somebody asks me like, well, you know, we all judges, right? I think they were shocked when I actually said, yeah, I know that, but I didn't go as deep as I wanted to. Like, I've actually had these type of conversations with people. I believe we're all judges, but I don't believe everybody uses their power accurately as a judge, which is why we have so much discord, division, and hatred across the globe today. People automatically look at judging, having the ability to judge a situation, judge a person, judge a place. They automatically feel powerful. They automatically just like to hear themselves talk, and they feel like the words that they speak in the air has no weight. Like, or I'm gonna say they feel like it has no weight when it comes to judgment on them. Do know that judges themselves can be judged. This is in real life. Let a judge break the law. Now this judge has to stand on trial just like any other individual would have had to for breaking the law. I don't even know where to start, or I'm just stay on track with or where I am about this topic. But even a police officer, if they are caught breaking the law or accusations are brought, sometimes they will have to stand on trial themselves for breaking the law or for doing something that was just outside of their duty. It was criminalistic. So I thought it was interesting, and it was one of the main very inspirations of leading me. I'm not going to be the first person to write a book on spirituality and religion and the difference between the two. But like I was saying in the last segment, every generation you're going to have people who notice something, or who begin to research something, or who begin to seek answers about certain things. Even if 200 generations a person did it, 2,000 generations a person did it, 200,000 generations ago a person did it. Every generation there's always like a solution seeker. Okay? And to me, those type of people are special, especially if they're not just looking for a solution for themselves. They're looking for a solution for others. Because, you know, one person can't save the whole world. Superman couldn't even do it, okay? So, one of the main inspirations of me coming up with this book and beginning to actually research some things, research witch doctors, research the type of things that they are able to do, whether I wanted to believe it or not. I mean, I went into this thing blindsided. I went into this thing just with an open mind. Like, if I don't find anything cool, if I do, then I'm willing to have an open mind about what I research. So I think what I do as an author is very fun. I ain't gonna say fun, because some of the things I research, I'll be like, whoa, my head is hurting. Because, you know, there was actually a whole period of time where if you were accused of being a witch, if you were accused of making somebody sick or invading their spiritual privacy, their actual lives, and doing all this weird stuff, dolls, there was an actual time in countries like Europe where you were burned at the stake. You were brought to trial first. This segment is still titled Spiritual Judgment versus Earthly Judgment. But what do y'all call it? Spiritual judgment or earthly judgment? When this was actually going on, and actually in some of the early periods of American settlement, this happened. That's why you have stories like the Salem, the area of Salem, and things that used to happen there. This got disputed oftentimes, and it got, you know, laws changed about this, because it was like no for sure way at the end of the day for judges to really get to the bottom and tell if a person was being falsely accused or not, which to me is a problem, because they probably were falsely accusing some. But to me, I just find it interesting because they write about that. If you can't really have a for sure way to know if a person was guilty of doing that or not, like for sure evidence. And that's what's always been tricky about spiritual crimes against others. And let me tell y'all something, just like robbery in the physical realm is real, in the spiritual realm you can rob somebody. You can rob somebody of their mind, an idea they might have had last night. You can rob them of dreams. You can rob them of their health. This is sick to me when I went and researched this. And in all the research I've done, I don't have to prove myself to nobody, because I feel like it's morally wrong to tamper with somebody's life spiritually. It's not something that I would ever be in. And I have lots of enemies. I have people I know don't like me right now. But I think what speaks for me is that all of my enemies seem to be doing well. I'm not mad about it. If I was doing this, that, and the third and the other to them, it's like, why are their lives flourishing? Why are they in good health? Why, nothing resembles their lives to where somebody is doing this to them or putting that on them. Because we all got enemies. I'm just using myself for an example. They all are where they want to be. They're choosing what they want to choose for their lives. They have the independence they want. That's my stance when it comes to, spiritual crimes I feel like have been done to me, and whether I'm doing it to others. And even if my enemy is not a family member, a close friend, I know that I have them in high places as well. I just want to be real on this video. I bet you all those people they're doing what you would consider well. So I'm definitely not a witch, but if I was a judge at that time, I would look at that. Like, if y'all are accusing this lady, oh yeah, and that's a big deal. It was mostly women that were brought on trial when Salem witch trials used to go on, and all these trials and stuff. It goes back deeper than Europe and all of this stuff, most definitely. Actually, in my research, I found out that many countries on many continents and stuff had some type of history. This is just facts. Has some type of history of spiritual crimes, and there not really being any line drawn against it. So I said, in my perception, this is how poverty has succeeded for so long. This is how mental illness has succeeded from so long. Some of it probably is inherited. Some of it probably is the food you're eating and how you're taking care of your health. But to me, after the research I've done, we never know who is out here sick right now, who's addicted to drugs right now, who's out here homeless right now because of something spiritual, some spiritual work somebody went and done in the dark, in the secret, to hurt somebody else. And my point is, when do we get to a level where we're finally like accepting this is real? This, what people do in the dark with spiritual magic and whatever else they do, rituals and stuff, not only is the fact that they do it real, the fact that it works is very real too, and that it has affected, it's even taken lives out here. And I just feel like, man, I know I feel weird about this. If my book can be the justice a little bit for those who are not here right now because somebody spiritually tampered with their life. And so I can't break it down on this whole segment like I will be bringing it in my book, but it's like, how many people would still be here? How many people would be doing better, who wouldn't be homeless, who wouldn't be in poverty, who wouldn't have lost their kids, who wouldn't have been abducted into sex trafficking? Like, how much of this would not have happened if people were brought on trial for those type of crimes too? Earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment. So I started off talking about karma and all of that, and how just about every culture and country I've researched does, admit that they believe in some type of karma. Even if they don't call it karma, they believe that type of energy is very real. And to me, I had to put puzzles together where they fit in like a chess game. You don't just, You don't just learn everything overnight about these type of things. But what I came to the conclusion of was this. If every culture, every culture with their own religion and spirituality, beliefs and practices believes that karma is real, whether there ever comes a time of earthly judgment in court for spiritual crimes again or not, spiritual judgment just might still be real, where what you put out to others just comes back to you. It's crazy. So it still brings me to the question, like, why do people do certain things? If they believe in the golden rule, if they believe in karma and all of this, why do they go so far to do certain things to others? Is it because they've truly, that's another thing, are, to me, are, because medicine doctors, witch doctors, all of this goes way, 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 way back in history. I'm just saying that they're still here. And there's different levels to this. Just because, to me, just because somebody tampers or they play with horoscopes, Ouija boards, and tarot cards, I mean, in my perception, they're not a witch. But if I was, to bring out what the Bible says about it, they are a witch. But the Bible also says that rebellion in itself, any type of strong rebellion against the will of God for somebody's life is straight up witchcraft. So then, at that point, horoscopes and stuff, that's not probably putting it on somebody, but it is a form of practicing it, like practicing a form of it, okay? And it's so deep to me because even the Bible is disputed so much, especially in black culture, because you got a lot of people that choose not to look at the perception that way, like, hey, a whole judgment came upon Israel. A whole judgment came upon certain tribes when it came to God's people for that very thing. To me, history just repeats itself. So these are just like those type of topics that are relevant today because New Age spirituality is very real. People are very open about it. They feel like they are communicating with ancestors. And my thing is, regardless if you're calling them ancestors, loved ones, what, you are tampering with the dead. And I'm not trying to offend anybody out here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put this on pause. I don't want to move too fast with this topic and throw y'all off. But y'all got to get ready. I'm finna have critics anyway because I had to do a book about this. Spirituality versus religion. Let me remind you guys what dead is to me. Dead is something that no longer has life. The sun and the moon, for instance, they've been here for probably longer than we know. But I know that they play different roles when it comes to the universe and the earth. They play different roles, and then they know their roles. Even the moon knows it does what it does. And really, I'm not a scientist, but I think the moon, it has a lot to do with it, like sea levels, ocean levels, all that stuff. And then you have the sun, who knows its role. And then you have the stars, who know their roles. And then you have the clouds, who, I'm talking about the natural course of things now, okay? Because we can't always tell what's going on in the sky anymore, okay? So this is a great topic for 2022. But you do have people that greatly believe, in the order of how astronomy works. But they cannot grasp the concept. If astronomy understands how it's supposed to work, why can't we understand, and maybe I'm wrong, but when something passes over and it is now, dead, of course, memories of this person or this animal or this plant that died may not be dead, because you can remember a person, a place, or thing as long as you would like to. You could keep that memory alive through the generations of the family. But, regardless of who doesn't want to hear it, there is also a difference between life and death, just like there's a difference between the order of the sun, the moon, the stars, no matter how you try to put it to me. So to me, you begin to mess with the natural order of life itself. But we say we respect life. life is sacred to us. We respect waking up every day. To me, I live in a time when it comes to this new age spirituality stuff, and as an author and podcaster, I talk to who I want to talk to get insights about certain information and how things work and how their culture, how their spirituality works. And it's crazy. It's like you're tampering with the natural order of life itself. I've never seen a time where more people are actually, they don't, we never should have feared death because it's we all got to die, but they feel like they have purpose in their death. Like they've already planned out what who can do with their spirits, who can talk to who. It's crazy. I saw a YouTube video the other day where these people think that they're actually talking to Selena from the dead. They use one of these machines and they're communicating with the dead Selena, and she's supposed to be giving these messages. Like, all due respect, this was very crazy to me. I understand keeping a memory of somebody alive, but what happened to allowing them to rest in peace? Where did that term even come from? Why am I on this topic right now? Because I can't, if I call it earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment, then I gotta go here. And I would never consider myself a judge on a specific topic, person, or anything if I first didn't understand the order of judgment and how deep judgment really is. Judgment is not just you judging somebody and they supposed to feel the lowest and because of what your judgment is. I mean, I wouldn't let just anybody judgment be portrayed on me a certain way. I wouldn't let their judgment on me hold a certain weight, even if I believed everybody on earth is a judge, because I would feel like, not every judge on this earth has a real understanding of that position. And I'm not talking about courtroom judge. I'm talking about just common everyday people who feel like they can walk around and judge. I will give you that. We all have a right to judge. How I use my right is how I use my right, though. I'm not just finna sit out here and judge any and everything. I have no witnesses. I have no evidence. No. This topic right here, though, yes, I've done my research. I'm still talking to people to get, their, and I respect their perception. I tell them from their perceptions. I tell them from the jump. Look, no matter what you tell me of how your spirituality practices work, or how it works in your country, what you have witnessed, what you have seen, even priests. That's how real spiritual crimes are. And with every story they tell me, it's always like, in the spirit always have to have some type of host. Not just a host, but another human is attack. I don't just see spirits attacking spirits out here. I don't just see good attack. When it comes to good is not trying to attack one another. Good is more on some unity. Let's, do what we need to do as humans to keep rolling and keep everything as healthy and as possible for everybody. So I'm not calling anything. I'm saying what I have researched and what I've already looked off into. So it'd be funny to sit back and allow people to challenge me from the stances that they think. When I said Arthur, do they know what come with that? And if I want to write about a specific topic, or if I want to judge a specific topic, then yes, that comes with much research and experience and understanding. First, as a quote-unquote judge, because earthly judgment is real. I get judged every day. You're going to be judged today by somebody, even if it's in a mental and they don't actually speak how they judged you. I know she didn't wear that dress to work. Here he comes in here acting like he's the boss. He's just an employee like the rest of us. Here she comes again thinking she's some type of big time Arthur, but I guess I respect her. She loves herself. That's all that matters. All of that is judging somebody, okay? And it's just like, if you don't know in any position you in this life or on a job, if you don't understand that position, what a real judge does when they assess a character, when they assess evidence, when they talk to witnesses. And I've seen court to where a judge said himself, hold on, jury, hold on, prosecutor, hold on, Mr. Attorney Representative over there. I didn't even know this was possible. Judges can say, I personally want to assess this case. Did y'all know that? Yeah. A case can be that deep. Like, I want to investigate this whole case for myself. And who knows what type of power that judge has just to do that. But do you know your position as a judge? You just out here judging for the feeling of power, the temporary feeling of power that it gives you. See, judges don't personally know everybody that comes in their courtroom, so you definitely don't personally know everybody you're out here judging. I can guarantee you that. So to me, it's like a form of ignorance. But if I know I don't know you, I would be first to give you that. I don't know every witch doctor I've interviewed. I don't know every medicine doctor or spiritualistic practicing person that I have talked to about their stories. I don't know them personally. That's why I had to interview them and see how this works. But my main point is that I've learned and researched enough to know that the spiritual world is very real. But why it does not, it plays its part on earth, but it doesn't play its part in the courtroom. And I just think that's crazy. Like, if spiritual crimes are real and somebody try to come to court one day and explain, which I've done research on this too, y'all go check out the article. It's a whole article I read. Just Google the article. It should pop up. I forgot what year this happened in, but it was a man who ended up murdering his wife and his children. And he tried to stand before a judge one day and say, look, they were putting spells on me. And like, I got tired of, in so many words he said that. Like, he truly believed. And of course, y'all know he probably got thrown in a mental home. I got to go back and look at this story. He either got deemed, something mentally for a mental evaluation or something. But he was really, really in belief of that. And he had witnesses that said he kept accusing him of that. Like, literally in trial, I feel like they just didn't know what to do with. Why not try to see what the witnesses are talking about? Why not try to make him bring up some evidence or something of what he might have been talking about? No, he probably just got deemed mentally ill and sent to a mental institute to serve his time. Now, am I justifying what he did? Not by a long shot. You got obviously some daughters and a wife that's no longer here just from being accused of such. See how this goes? I don't even blame the court. I don't blame the Supreme Justice System in it. That's probably was a tough one back when this was against the law. To be able to deem who really was telling the truth when they say they were being attacked this way and who wasn't. But do know it's a very real part of our history where if you were getting brought to court for these type of crimes, you were being penalized as well. So back to how court works in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's on trial, somebody's there. You get a whole floor to try to, you know what I'm saying? Not clear up your case, but give your side, as because a lot of times people be guilty of whatever it is. That's why I say when it comes to the penalty or the judgment, it might be light, it might be great, but judgment is that. Even when you secretly sitting back judging somebody, be careful what you are channeling and sending, that type of energy on somebody's life just because you feel like you can. Yeah, well, the court of justice system don't tell me this is against the law for me to channel negative energies towards your life, so I'm going to do it. You got a lot of people that sit back and feel like that. Okay, because I heard something called the evil eye or the evil stare is very real, and it does channel a certain type of. I'm just ready to have these type of discussions. It's like I had to become an author to do it. Okay, and then it's so much, y'all. Okay, a judge that knows his position, first of all, he's patient. Y'all not patient, but you out here judging for that. It shows. You judge a person in 5 seconds, you're not a good judge. A real judge has to sit back and let the trial play out. They might find out by week 2 of that whole trial that the person was really innocent. They might find out by week 2, well, the person didn't do it, but they played a part in it. They might find out by week 2, well, the person did it, but X, Y, and Z was going on, and the person was crying for help the whole time, and we got this witnesses saying, y'all hung up the phone, 911 didn't get there, all this stuff. All of that plays a part before a judge gives a person justice or a judgment. And I just was wondering, like, do people sit back to that though? To me, when something is dead, like how the natural course of life works, when something is dead, it's dead, it's gone. If this were not true, why that person can't just get up out the grave? This, to me, this is why people denounce the Bible too. There are stories where it happened in there, but this supposed to be fairy tale, this and that. So we can all. I just love being in. I love my individual freedom. Like, you can't make me believe or taint my belief about nothing. But I don't see people these days just getting up. Just getting up. The last story I saw about it was in a third world country though. It was a little girl or a little boy. And he was in it was actually at the funeral. But for anybody that just wanted to know. But I don't just see people getting up like that. Like, just, they dead. That's how you know they gone. And then when a life is born, they're born because you hear that first cry. You cut that umbilical cord, like, that's a life being born. I'm talking about the natural course of this. So people put their own fingers on stuff and say, well, I wanna play with the dead. To me, that's not natural. That's like putting a power in a place that you really don't have you didn't even naturally have the power to do that. But you're gonna go create machines and get tools and rocks, whatever they use, and it's like, well, I want to communicate with the get. It's like, what? If you already feel like you powerful as a person and you got all this intuition and energies, like, what need do you have to tamper with dead things? It just doesn't make sense to me. It grosses me out, the thought of even attempting to do it. When I'm gone, let me go. Don't call me. And I'm going to tell y'all now, you calling me, my spirit and stuff like that, that's not me. Because I see myself in higher height. Like, let me rest in peace. Because, wherever I transition, leave me alone. That's crazy. Like, if I've served my purpose here, I've had my time here, ran my course, I don't need anybody saying, well, you're my ancestor, I want to call on you to, for what? When you got human living bodies right here to assist you, people in your own community you can't get along with, and y'all want me to believe your ancestors and these people that y'all calling on is cool with that conjuring up? That's why I feel like it's not good. If they can see so much from the dead, why they can't look around and see how bad your own inside communities are? How bad you can't even unify with your own people. But you're able to unify with the dead. To me, something ain't right with it. And then, what if there's a judgment behind it? That judgment might be great. That judgment might be little. But you cannot pay me to believe that it only has to be one. I can only believe in one greater good out here. And I believe there's evil. Like, I don't choose to sit around and say, well, there's a greater good, but we got powers too to hurt people with them in secret in the spiritual realm. I don't see what's cool about that, especially if you're using it on your own people. When I say own people, your own family members, your own friends, your own husbands and wives. This gotta stop, and it won't stop. But I'm gonna be one of the ones. If spiritual judgment is real, that the universe say, she was pure. She was able to assess things, sit back. She wasn't so quick to take a payment to do any and everything. She wasn't so quick to bow down to any and everything out of intimidation, out of debt, out of frustration, out of anger. We wasn't able to do her like that. We got too many weak links, if you ask me. You can't be a weak link. If you wouldn't be a weak link in earthly court, why would you be that in spiritual judgment? I can only answer for myself both ways. It's crazy, bro. Like, one thing about it, to me, the soul don't lie. The spirit don't lie. Whatever you see about a person's spirit, that ain't lying. Whatever you see about a person's soul, about a person's heart, that's not lying. But we sit back and just judge things on a daily, like the surface of the outer shell. Look at her hair. Look at the way she talks. Look at what she's been through. Like, what? Where is that supposed to intimidate me at? And then, cause I know personally, I don't spend my life, my energy, my time every day judging what other people are doing. Number one, because like I talked about on the last segment, I can respect all walks of life. This is why I am. Hopefully, I get to the level where I can interview celebrities too. I can interview, and write books about them or whatever. It takes a certain type of character for somebody to share their story with you, for somebody to be willing to share what type of work they do with you and how long, why this is in their culture, why, you know what I mean? And I could be honest, like, look, I want to write a book about religion versus spirituality. It's a lot of people out here that still believe that the spiritual world does not exist. When you got millions of stories on Google talking about sleep paralysis alone. Many people from all over the globe that say they have experienced this. Either in a dream or in waking life, they've experienced a point in their life where they were fully mobile. They knew they could talk. They've been talking 42 years of their life. But one night they could not move, they could not speak, they just felt like, you tell me, how long you gonna try to convince me the spiritual world is not real? Something we can't see is out here. And why has this not been incorporated in a court of law? If somebody say, that story was interesting to me though, like I was like, what if that man is telling the truth? He say his wife and daughters was putting spells and he lost his mind. He did that to them. Now do you think they were putting spells on him for him to backfire and do that to them? That's why I don't think that stuff is nothing to be played with. And then, to me, he should have been honest, like, get away from them something. He probably didn't know who to call on. It's not like you can call a detective and say, look, these people are putting spells on me. How you going to prove it? This is why this is a major problem, and I want to bring out a book about it. Because at one point in history, it was a part of the court of law. It was a whole illegal crime for you to do that to people. Then you had freedom of religion come about. To me, that was nothing but, that was like telling people, well, yeah, now you can go practice this, you can do spiritual crimes against others. That's crazy to me. I don't think there should be that. If people practice what they practice, they believe what they believe, I don't think it should be a law on it. Like, okay, freedom, you're free to practice whatever. They took it to the 10th yard, the 100th yard when that went into effect. Like, okay, so now we can, that's why they got what you call churches of Lucifer, all kind of religions I never thought I would see today. That's probably been around, but they're like open with their practices. And now they're intimidating you with the powers or things that they're saying that they can do. I'm not with that. Maybe I'm just real old school or pure. I don't see that as cool. If I got to use extra spiritual powers to make you do something, or I just want to control me. I just want to be in control of my destiny, my life, my decisions, my choices. I don't want to have to bow down to, like a certain play with the dead, do rituals with blood, whatever else. Just they try to make it innocent too. It's crazy. Like, well, if this could, I wouldn't care what you tell me this could do. If it has blood involved, goat heads, weird symbols, I don't want any part of that. So that's me, and this is definitely part one. I have to come back and do a part two when it comes to earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment. I think I just kind of like poured out, like, to me, the very, very strong symbolism between the two and how we should be careful judging others. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, every culture and boo, how you going to be willing to judge somebody but think you will never get judged back in life? Like, that's not how karma works. And a true judge, like I said, they're bringing evidence. They're bringing witnesses. You can have two witnesses overpower a whole 10 if they telling the truth. The truth ain't never been hard to see. The truth is one thing that's not hard to bring out because it's the truth. And even if them other 10 was lying and they false rumors and this is correct, if them 2 know what they talking about, if them 2 know that they know, if that 1 do, them 10 not finna stand. And if that judge know his position, if that judge know his position, if he know how to truly judge us, I told y'all I've already seen this with my own eyes where a case got so crazy, he say, I'm gonna investigate this myself. I'm gonna investigate this myself. I want to investigate this whole, who he say he is, who she say she is to him, who everything he's been through that led up to this point, like that. And I'm just like y'all, I didn't know that was possible till I saw it. You don't want to play with something like a justice system, because justice is also technically a part of judgment. No matter what all false accusations, what all false witnesses you think you got, what all you think you bring to the table, you might just be setting that person up for justice just because you was bitter like that. You knew you was false when you bought that. You know how many people sitting in prison right now or in their graves and they was innocent? Maybe I'm just, like I say, it's the free spirit in me that's a problem. And we don't think there's no judgment behind it, even if we feel like we got away with it, or well, this was just the justice system, so this is how it went. Even if you know how many cases came out later and said, man, this person was innocent, but they had already electrocuted him. They already done gave him the death penalty. The man had already had a life sentence. He's 62 now, and you're saying, man, we just found evidence. You're innocent. So to me, judgment is not always accurate. I want to make sure I'm 10 toes down, got everything I'm supposed to have, because who can tell my life better than me? In the spirit realm or on earth. When you got people that's actually wrongfully prosecuted for things every day. So yes, most people that's locked up, they're probably guilty. Or most people that got a slap on the wrist type of penalty were probably guilty. You know, warnings are also a part of judgment. A whole warning, like, look, we're going to let you go this time, but, you know, you on 9 months probation and we watching. And you on house arrest. Okay, that's what you call, like, a warning. Warnings are also a part of judgment. Let's say you had 3-4 warnings and the judge just done did all he can for you. That's where you might see a more heightened, or to me that's a judge that's coming correct. Like, you know, now I done gave this person 2 warnings. Both of these arrests happened within 6 months of me giving him the warning. He has to have good judgment. See, now he needs a heightened punishment, because if he don't have a good reason, like, I'm not understanding, we trying to help you out, we gave you the resources, you told me you had a job, 45 days after you got out of here, what happened? Then you done robbed somebody else. See, now we gotta give you a more heightened punishment. So now you get 2 or 3 years. That's what real judging looks like. I guess you could say court is kind of like karma. You know, only you would know at the end of the day why you did something, why you did it, how you did it, why you did it, when you did it. Because court is all about times, who was there, who was last seen, who phone records. I'm just saying spiritual judgment is the same way. Y'all act like evil spirits or something is the only thing out here. What if angels and a greater good is real, who can also record and see everything that's going down out here? Because the truth is, a lot of our justice is not going to come through this earthly place of judgment. No, your justice, your 40 acres and mules, what do y'all call it? It's not coming from her. If it was coming from her, wouldn't we have been had it? So your justice does not come from what your people went through. All of that that's what's wrong with the people. To me, they looking for somebody to hand them over their justice, or they try to go seek their justice another way. Which I'm gonna say that for part 2. Cause it's this way that I'm hearing that people try to go seek it. If it was working so great, where's the justice? Some of these same people that I said practice all this stuff I told y'all when it came to spirituality, they get paid to do it. Which in return means if they weren't getting paid to do it, they would still be struggling. Because you ain't just finna be going to dibble and dabble off into this stuff for no reason or for no, you know what I'm saying? There's no logic behind it. So to me, a person full of faith is not into that if they just feel like they can go tamper with it to see in somebody else's life. Like, you're not happy to me if you're doing stuff like that. I want to see what's going on in their household. So, like, we're not blinded like y'all think out here no more. Like, even rappers and celebrities are coming out telling you, yeah, spiritually I sold my soul. If a spiritual realm was not real, if a spiritual realm was not real, a evil one, why could celebrities come out and tell you that they sold their whole soul? Like, come on, bro. Yeah, this stuff is real. And then if they did that, they're probably having to do. They're now somebody's in control of them. Like, they don't have the independence they once had to just go practice any spirit. Just do whatever they want to do. It looks all great and gravy. But no, somebody's telling them where they got to be every day. Somebody's telling them where they can go and not go. How much they can spend. How many more songs they got to record. Ain't no telling what all come with it. But we all want 40 acres and mules or however it's being said. That's justice to y'all? See, my version of justice and other people's may be different. Especially if spiritual justice exists. Karma. You gotta sometimes sit back and let that do its job. Because who can fight that? It comes, I heard karma comes a lot when you don't even expect it. Or it comes at inconvenient times. And it's really not even funny to laugh at it. That's how much I understand, like, it's a natural course. Like, if the spiritual realm wasn't real, how does karma happen to people? As if people receive the very energies that they put back out. I want people to start thinking about that. Religion versus spirituality. Religion came into play when you told people there's a freedom of religion. So now it's like, oh, okay, let me go be this. Let me start this church. If I wanted to start a church y'all never heard of tomorrow, it wouldn't be illegal. It's crazy. Like, to me, that was, it's just my opinion. You open the door for people to just start doing anything, practicing anything, and doing anything, and they being funny with it, cause they were told they have a freedom to do it. It's crazy. Hurting people, spying on, invading people privacy, tampering with things, all of that is very possible and real, because I've already talked to people in their life that work that way. And they do. They feel very powerful, but at the same time, why not use that power to unify the people, to make the people better, to make society better? I ain't seen that yet. I see more like Yellowstone is acting like it wants to erupt soon. I see stuff like lakes running out of water. I see stuff like food shortages and COVID-19 vaccine mandates. But what y'all tampering with is so powerful. I don't understand. Like, what is the ancestors telling y'all? That boy. So anyways, don't worry, I'll be announcing my book on my platforms when it is. It is soon to come. I actually hope that I get it done. I'm not going to even be mad. I might choose Halloween to be the release date. I'm not kidding. What they call Halloween. Because it is a scary topic to sit there and think about the fact that people are tampering with things in the spirit that they think comes with no judgment, but they sit back and judge on a constant basis. Like, why wouldn't that come back to you? Gonna be judged? Make sure whatever you was doing in the dark, in the secret, in the shadows, whatever you was doing, make sure it's something that you can handle coming back to you. If it had to go that way, make sure you can handle whatever it bring back to you that you was putting somebody else through. Because, see, it might come in a different form. It might look another way just to make sure you feel exactly what you was taking somebody else through. That's what I saw. I said I thought COVID-19 would have humbled people. Like, when we all saw, like, man, any catastrophe could happen anytime. Any pandemic, plague, the economy. We should have already been thinking like that. But now, I ain't gonna lie, we do have some people that have humbled themselves. But really, it's like people just got worse. I humble myself, and it's not because, because whether we get worse or humble ourselves, it seems like whatever's coming, whatever's been going on, whatever after chain effects it has, it's going to happen. But I feel like I can think better if I'm in a humble place. My eyes are more open if I'm I can't think angry. I can't think jealous of somebody all the time. I can't think always after what the next man got. I can't think like that. I got to be humble. So boom, life showed me that these catastrophes can happen at any time. And I could be put in a place that I didn't expect to be put in. I could end up with a stimulus check and have to receive COVID leave pay at work and have to work out child care arrangements because there's a spread of COVID in the daycares. I never know what's going to happen. But if I'm in a place of humbleness, it seems like I could think more because I know that I'm not better than anybody. I know that my next move might look like something that I never imagined because I have to do this next move to survive or something like that. To me, people don't think like that. It's like, where can I get in with power first? I'm telling y'all. If all this power exchanging and selling out and all of that was worth it, why does the world look like it does right now? What is it that people sitting on that make them feel so safe and inevitable from whatever? Well, just sell your soul. You'll live in the next life. Okay, what if they selling you a dream with that? Just think about it. And I know people have their different perceptions and views about this topic. These are just mine. I like to think on a deeper level about things. History is history. Now is now. And also history taught me that history has done nothing over and over and over again but repeat itself. And it's going to keep doing it until a difference is made. That's what cycles do. Until a cycle is broken, until a system is fixed, history repeats itself. It's like humans think of they run to the same solution every time. But if you see running to the same solution is not working, if you see that the way that you've been trying to do things or avoid things or turn a blind eye to it is not working, why would you? To me, that's what you call insanity, fear or something. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video discussion with me, Miss Whitney, Arthur Tedasheri, Miss Whitney. We're going to have more interviews with entrepreneurs later this week anyway. I'm going to be busy with some other work this week until that time comes up because we have books to release. We have a degree to obtain. I like these bangs if I can fix them. I haven't fully did my hair, the front part, the edges and everything like it's supposed to look. But I threw this on so I could get my video done. See, I'm human. But I just want to spread a little light out here. Think about that. If what y'all was doing was working so much, why is everything going like it's going, Anyways, I kind of look like Sniper Wolf. Me and my girls love her channel, by the way. I don't know if she'll ever come to my channel. She got glasses just like these, and she be wearing her hair down. Sniper Wolf, you're awesome. Shout out from the Crown Content Publications YouTube channel. We're publishing and marketing meet. I actually would love to interview her on my channel one day. For real. Sniper Wolf, if you hear me, my email is crowncontentpublications@aol.com. Let's network, girlfriend. Thank you guys for your support, and until next time.